Welcome to Trek Trav. I'm Trav, and today we're talking about Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 10, The Last Generation, of which is the season finale and the series finale of Star Trek Picard. And I really hope you've watched the episode, because otherwise this is going to spoil it for you. So make sure you go do that, come right back here, and consider subscribing, liking, and sharing. So, as you know, if you've watched my reviews, I found this season really good, but there are some flaws in it. This episode sort of exemplified those flaws, weirdly, because everything I was expecting to happen didn't happen, and we had a really good sort of weird hodgepodge of things. So, at the beginning of the episode, we get Seven and Raffi kicking ass. Seven, and they get up to the bridge, they're on the bridge, they just need to take control of the Titan, which they eventually do by using the cloaking device to disconnect from the visual line of sight connection between all the Federation ships controlled by the Borg. The Borg are attacking Starbase so they can essentially take over Earth and destroy Earth. So we see Seven and Raffi really nail the badassery of it. And I quite enjoyed it. It was really good. They used the transporters attached to their guns to basically shoot people, beam them into the transporter room and lock the doors. So all of our younger cast on the Titan are essentially, I want to say, closeted. And I really liked that entire section of the episode. The Enterprise D crew are trying to find the connection. They want to go find Jack. They manage to find a Borg cube in Jupiter, in Jupiter's atmosphere, which is an odd place to stick a Borg cube and a transwarp conduit. And we see, and this is the biggest cube we've ever seen. It is like, the D was like small compared to a cube before. This time it's like a microbe. And yeah, I was like, whoa, this looks really good. I do find the CGI in these new Star Treks doesn't look quite as realistic as the models, but that might just be because I'm getting old. So when we get our plan hatched, which is essentially beam on board, locate the transmission source that's controlling all of the people back at the starbase, Picard goes to see Jack, and I really sort of, I don't know how to put it, there's a lot of spoilers here. So they are trying to work out how are they going to stop this frequency from emitting. They find out that at the center of the Borg cube is a transmitter, and they have to essentially, and I didn't think they were going to do it, and I was really, I want to say, the D firing phasers and shooting at the Borg ship is amazing. And they basically have to fly into the Borg ship. And my first thought of this is, oh my god, they're doing a Death Star thing. Now, I did feel like that. I was like, oh, please don't copy Star Wars. And then we got all the emotional beats. So Riker and Worf are attacked by two Borg. Worf has a concealed laser in his sword, and basically he's been using the sword to basically do something he enjoys, which is slicing and stabbing through the chest, which you've seen all season. We get a moment before they beam on board where Riker sort of says goodbye to Troy, and they sort of say goodbye like they're going to die. And to be honest, I thought that one of them was going to die. I'm going, maybe Worf, because Michael Dorn's done it for years. But I really enjoyed the emotional beats. Honestly, I'm sitting there and going, oh my god, I'm feeling something. Like, I got teary-eyed. And when they were saying goodbye to each other, and Gates saying goodbye to Beverly, and it was just a really good emotional moment of the crew separating. Captain Picard finds Jack. Jack's been assimilated with an incredibly similar facial assimilation to Picard, and we see the Borg Queen. Now, my one disappointment about this, there's a few, but one disappointment about this episode was we got Alice Krieg doing the voice of the Borg Queen, but it was very clearly not Alice Krieg as the Borg Queen. The mouth was too ferocious, Alice Krige has a very controlled mouth. It just seemed like the Borg Queen was being extra dramatic. So I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get Alice Krige, but her voice was fantastic anyway. Raffi and Seven have obviously got their cloaked ship. They're flying around. They're destroying things, and they basically get they're getting damaged, but it's slow. And then Starbase is destroyed, and Earth's getting targeted. The Enterprise D is flying into the Death Star Borg cube. And we're getting all these emotional beats. So in order to save Jack, Captain Picard goes into the collective again, connects himself to the collective. We find out pretty much through this, the collective has been destroyed. There is only the Borg Queen and a couple of drones. The Borg were destroyed. And Captain Picard goes in there and tries to convince Jack that you have to come out. And the Borg Queen says he could just choose to come out. I think that's a bit weird. Like, Picard could have chosen to come out at any time. But that wasn't an issue, really. I get what they were trying to do. And then we get really great moments with Riker and Worf adding some comedy and some levity to fighting the Borg. We get Patrick Stewart and Spiliers talking, and he's talking about how he's lonely and he feels different and he feels separated. And Picard, and it's really weird, it's a real emotional moment. Picard admits that he's given his life purpose and he's given him feeling. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, oh my God, I'm feeling stuff for this. What the hell's going on? Because when I watch Star Trek, I look, there's things that affect me with Star Trek in general, but these emotional beats really got me. So Picard basically goes, look, if you're not going to leave, then I'm going to stay with you. We'll be together. And I think that moment was really nice. It was a really nice moment. He gives him a hug, and you see that Jack sort of resonates with that love of his father, which is really, really sweet. It really affected me. And this whole episode did. Like, right, they think that they're going to die once they blow up the transmitter, which will blow up the whole Borg ship. Riker says he'll be there with Thad waiting for you when he dies. Worf gives his moments. There's a lot of little moments in this that are really good. This is why I didn't have a huge problem with the Star Wars-esque running into the shaft to destroy the Borg ship, because Star Wars, it's all about the action. This was about the emotional connection between the characters, and I think that was much more well done than I previously thought that they could do, to be honest. I didn't realize how much I'd actually grown to like Jack, and I didn't realize his relationship with Picard was really good, and I quite enjoyed it. And so they destroy the transmitter, but then Deanna, getting behind the front, the helm console of the Enterprise D, I swear the Enterprise should have just shut down then, because she might have crashed it. I'm joking. Calm down. I love Deanna. So Deanna obviously telepathically knows where they are. I don't know how that helps. Their signal was being blocked, but she knows where they are. So we get this really cool shot of Jack pulls himself and Picard out of the collective, and we get a cool shot of the D flying over. Now, they beam them up, and it's brilliant. Another little niggling thing for me is since when is the Enterprise D flown like the Millennium Falcon? It was never that maneuverable, and I get that Data's controlling it, and he's really fast and and has really good reflexes. But I'm just like, whoa, why is the D flying like this? And look, I'll let it go, because CGI, you can do more than you can with models. So I think the emotional moment saved that moment. So once the transmitter is destroyed, the Borg Queen is destroyed, all of the younger Starfleet people are disconnected, and it was a really sweet moment between Sydney LaForge, I believe, who apologizes, and Seven runs up and gives her a big hug, and I'm like, oh, that's a really sweet moment. And I've really enjoyed it. Just skipping back, because I just thought about it, having Walter Koenig do a voiceover at the beginning as Anton Chekhov, both nodding to Anton Yelchin, and also obviously to Chekhov, of whom he played, having his voiceover in the beginning. I was like, oh, that's a nice little treat. So then we get a procession of endings. So we get Beverly and Jack, we get Picard and Jack, we get Worf and Raffi's finally getting the acceptance she wants from her family, and they want to see her, and we find out that Worf sort of leaked all the good things she's done to the news, which is really sweet. And their relationship was actually, like, in that moment, I'm going, you know what, I feel this. And they talk, and Raffi mentions about him being like a good friend, and I loved that. I loved Deanna's interaction with Data, where he's expressing his emotions, and she's a bit over it. I love the fact, because you know that Marina Sirtis hates that part of Deanna's character. The fact that she's sort of like looking at holiday things while she's listening to him talk about his emotions is just so funny. And I have to give an amazing like thumbs up to Jonathan Frakes and Marina Sirtis's like just love. They just show a lot of love. Like when they get back on the Enterprise, once they've been beamed up, just before it blows up, there's Riker and Troy go to hug each other. Beverly hugs Jack, and then you get Data, Geordi, and Worf, and then the funny moment where Worf falls asleep. There's a lot of sentimental moments in this episode. So, my biggest dislike of the episode is, and this is towards the end, so this is major spoilers, is they rename the USS Titan the USS Enterprise G. Now, I'm not a big fan of the way the Titan looks. I think the original Titan was much better, and it's the same here. I think the Enterprise F was a far better looking ship than the Enterprise G. Now, I get why they're doing it. They're doing a continuation. It's a feeling. I get that sort of sensation within it. But like in the end, he tricks, and we find out that Jack's going into Starfleet, which is a sweet thing. And Picard says he's proud. And we get on board the Enterprise, and we do find out just before this that that 7 of 9 is talking to Tuvok. So Tim Russ appears again, which is really, really great. And he throws her a little holo projector, which has Captain Shaw talking about her and how good she is. And she's about to resign from Starfleet. She feels like she's failed. She wants to leave. And then Captain Shaw talks about she'd be amazing as a captain, and her name is 7 of 9. And he was really a sweet guy after all. All tickets, Captain Shaw, hands down, was the best character of this season in regards to the new characters. He nailed it. Having Tuvok there was really good. We didn't get Janeway, which 100% I thought Janeway would pop up somewhere. And we didn't get her, so I'm kind of glad about that. We got 7, obviously, is the captain of the Enterprise G. Raffi is the commander. Jack is serving. Sydney is serving. And you know what? I would watch a series with them. So then we cut to, and look, I might miss stuff in this review because it was such a chock-filled episode. So we cut to the 10 Forward Lounge, the set that I swear to God they've overused at this point. And they're all sitting at the bar having a talk. Picard gives a moving speech. They're all friends. And then Picard pulls up a card and they go and play poker. And then we get our Next Generation theme playing over the poker. And it's a really sweet moment, harkening back to All Good Things. And it was a really good moment. And then we go through all of the credits, and then we get the final scene, which is Jack in his quarters, opening up his bag, putting up a photo of Picard and Crusher, although it's actually Patrick Stewart and Gates at a function for Next Generation. And suddenly Q appears, and he goes, "My father told me all about you. Aren't you dead?" And he goes, "You're so linear." So Q's still alive. And I think that is amazing. And then he tells Jack that he is now on trial as opposed to Captain Picard. His trial has ended, whereas Jack's trial, and 100% the whole Q dying thing was stupid anyway. And I really like that moment. And everything at the end of this series sets up the possibility of another series, maybe a TV movie like the recently announced Section 31 movie. And I want to say that this season, while not being perfect and sometimes leaning into the nostalgia way too much, ended pretty good. Everything sort of made sense. The changelings were a bit of a waste. I still think that it made no sense having just changelings doing it, although at least they're acknowledged in the last episode. It's a really action-packed, character-filled episode in an hour. I knew that when they were going to do the 1 hour ending for this, that it would be a bit of a over-exaggeration. I do find it technically what saved the day in this episode was love. But also duty to the people on Earth. And there was so much to enjoy, and this whole season has had so much to enjoy. If you love nostalgia, you'll love nostalgia. If you like new characters, there's some damn good new characters in this. If you like to see the TNG crew, they're really good too. The only actor in this episode who I felt was a little off was Brent Spiner as New Data. And I felt his reactions were just too emotional, but then he's dealing with those emotions, so I kind of get it. To be like, it's a really good series, and I would go as far as to say that it's better than the previous 2 seasons, except they're different shows. Like, Picard Season 1 and Season 2 are different shows to Picard Season 3. Picard Season 3 is Next Generation Season 8. We get no references to Jurati, which doesn't make any sense, seeing as she is a Borg. We get no references to Elnor. We get no references to Agnes. We get no references to any of the Picard characters. So as much as this feels like an end to Next Generation, I really wish that there was an end to Picard, because this wasn't the show for. This wasn't just a show for a TNG character. This was a show that had its own characters and its own stories for 2 seasons before this. That being said, Season 3 is a good season. Is it the best season of Star Trek ever done? I don't think so, but it is damn good. But I also liked Season 2 and Season 1. I'd really like to know your thoughts on this. If you could like, comment, subscribe, share, tell me what you think. Tell me if maybe I've missed some stuff out. And I'll answer as many comments as I can. Thank you for watching. I will be doing a Series 3 final thoughts next week, same time. So make sure to check back on the channel. I've been Trek Trav. Live long and prosper, and no more Picard.